matter how long the truth may go, no matter how far you hide the truth, one day, someday, it will come to life. Even in the thickest of forests, the moment you light any fire with sticks, there will surely be a reflection at some point. No matter how far you hide the evil that you do, justice will be served someday. Will justice be served? You can be assured that yes, it will be served, either on earth or in the afterlife. Served. Justice was served on Andrew Nice Ominikoron, and that is something that we want you to reflect on. Whatever it is that you do, think about the impact that it would have on you, the impact that it would have on members of your family and loved ones, on the impact that it would have on the nation. Good morning. The truth is, justice will always be served, either physically or spiritually, either by physical force or mystical forces. Karma is not a joke, and you can't offer assurances that the sins of the father may not be visited on the generations to come, especially when it goes spiritual or mystical. I want you to reflect on that this morning as I welcome you to a fresh episode of Reflections. Reflection for a lot of our non-English speakers, but we remain very, very committed to listening to the show at any point in time. Good morning to you. This is Reflections on Adami Mogo 93.1 FM. My name is Sam Olugbeminiyi. It is my prayer that wherever it is that you are, wherever it is that you go to, that you will be guided by the instincts of good. You will be guided by the instincts of life, and that your choices will not tend towards death. That is my prayer for you this morning. And so again this morning I repeat that justice has been served. Yes, yesterday Justice Sharifa Chunaike of the Lagos State High Court at the Tafa Balea Square sentenced Andrew Nice Ominikoron, a Lagos bus rapid transit driver, to death. Omnicoron is to die by hanging for killing Bamishi Ayanwale, a 22-year-old fashion designer, after a state prosecutor proved 5 counts bordering on felony, sexual assault, rape, conspiracy, and murder against him. Recall that Ayanwale was heading to Oshodi from work when she boarded a bus driven by Omnicoron on February 26, 2022 in the Ajah area of the state. That was the last time that she was seen alive before her body was then found at Kata Bridge just 9 days after she went missing. During the trial, the pathologist at the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, Sunday Shoyami, had confirmed that Ayanwale died of severe craniocerebral injury following a blunt force trauma, especially to the left side of her forehead, another to the right temple just above her ear, and a large bruise on the back of her skull. It's a very, very nasty way to pass on. But Andronis, justice has been served. But will justice be implemented? For 2 reasons. One, if you recall one of my interviews, in fact, I'm very sure that if you listened, you joined the show at the start, you must have listened to that part where one of my previous guests mentioned that in Nigeria we do not kill criminals anymore, especially those who are involved in murder, that the governors are afraid to sign off on death warrants. Are we going to see a delay, yeah? Or is that going to happen? So that it would be a deterrent to others, especially if the person here is not going to appeal this particular judgment. Is that going to happen? Or is that going to be another forgotten case? Just yesterday, somebody said, see, we do not have people who are experts in executing death by hanging, so that may also be a stumbling block. Now, I'm not saying, oh, it must, but I'm saying that either way, if somebody has been convicted, and rightfully so, then justice has to be implemented. You know? But I'm going to take you back to a conversation that I had with Barrister Ayodele Ademiloye, who I don't know what exactly is wrong, but I'm hoping that if he can hear me this morning, he would be able to reach out to me, because I've tried all his lines, none of them, because I know that he played an integral role in this particular case. But for some reason, for the last 2 days, he has not been reachable on all lines. But I'm going to go back to an interview that I had with him sometime last year, where he specifically mentioned, and it is something that we are quite familiar with, that this person wasn't the only person involved. Yes, and so we are the others. I'm going to play that excerpt so that you can listen and then make of it what you will. This is Barrister Ayodele Ademiloye speaking here.
Barrister Ademiloye, I understand that a couple of other suspects. I understand that a couple of other suspects, connected to that case are at large. What is your assessment of security in apprehending those persons at large?
Okay, thank you so much. For me, without wasting a lot of time, there has not been any form of seriousness. But we did a letter, I could remember a year ago, to the Inspector General of Police. I think we have to cycle in this country. When there is so much public uproar over a case, there will be a form of what you can call immediate, what the Nigerians call immediate gaga. And after time as we simmer down on the matter, everybody go back to factory settings. Now, that means disposition of the police. Of course, the wake of the matter, there was a lot of only copper, there was a lot of press conferences by the CP, and after the year after, there is no effort, that's just the truth, to apprehend the other suspect at large. Or even some main persons who are on the payroll of the Lagos State Lagos Bus Services Limited, which is capable of corporate criminal liability. Those are issues. And we applied for the fiat of the Attorney General of Governor of Lagos State, the General of Lagos State, who are not given. But in any case, the state has been the one. Don't forget that we equally allege the state, but the state is in a public-private partnership agreement with Lagos Bus Services Limited. Of also being coupled, but in any case, the law is that the state will also be the prosecutor. And 1 year after they have closed their appeals, and then it is clear that yet those suspects have not yet been apprehended. We call for their arrest 1 year after.
Barrister Ayodele Ademiluyi there. So it's a question of, is Andrew just a fall guy, or are there others in the mix? Is he just the fall guy, or are we going to also pay attention to other people involved in this? That's the big question on the minds of a lot of people. Is Andrew going to be just the fall guy, or are we going to get other people, who... I think about 4 other persons who are said to be on the run and involved in this particular case, because we must have justice. Justice must be served. Do not forget that we are streaming live on Facebook on Adamimogo 93.1 FM. Adamimogo 931 FM. That's where we're streaming live. So you can go there. Tell me what you think. So we're going to see what's going to happen with the rest of this case. I can assure you that even though we're not able to get through to Barrister Ademiluyi, we will try and get across to somebody else who must have been involved in this particular case. This morning, the other issue I'm going to talk about. Okay, some of you want to call in. Okay, don't worry. I would provide just some 5 minutes for you to talk about Bamishe's the trial involving Andrew Nice from Nikoron. But let me tell you that we would shortly, and just like you must have heard yesterday, I'm due to speak with Comrade Atiku Issa. That is, if he has not changed his mind, because I have called him this morning, but he is yet to respond. But he gave me his assurance yesterday that he will be willing to join us. But let's take just some few remarks on the Bamishi Ayomole trial. Do you think this provides sufficient closure for the family? 0805 5888 192. You can also try 0805 5888 193. Please move away from your radio set or turn it down. Good morning to you. Please move away from your radio set. Or maybe you turn down the volume.
I am very pleased with the judgment. But why can't he say, if there are so many people involved in it, let him mention their name. After all, he has been tried. Why can't he mention their name if there are any people that is involved in it? He's supposed to mention their name. You don't have to put words into his mouth. If there's anybody that is involved that send in that they're both doing it, Let him mention their name. I will let Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to see if he's going to mention an auto 805 5888 193 or 805 5888 192. Those are the two numbers to call this morning. Don't forget, we're live on Facebook at Adamimogo 931 FM. Oluwafunke Jesu Ladewaju, thank you very much. Thank you. Bibire Tayo, Lekki, Olutoyin, good morning to you. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Sam.
Damilola, good morning to you.
Good morning, my brother. How are you doing this morning, sir?
Oh, well, we're grateful. We're grateful.
On the issue of humanity, I love your starting this morning. Justice is justice, and it's always good to have it. And in fact, we have been waiting what will be the end of that matter, but we thank God that justice prevails at the end. In fact, it means that we have good lawyers and good judges, in fact, good judges in Nigeria. The only thing is just that I think the people of the country, mainly the people of Lagos State, didn't actually put more interest in that case. They will have actually buried it. So which means we have good people in this country that can give us no judgment, who can give us no accurate party. And I will actually thank the government of Lagos State, and they should do more. If this actually continues, we will have sustainable democracy. If this can actually be parties all run, without any political interference, without any political class, being intervened in all this matter, but we will have a balanced state. It's a very good country. It's a very good something. And we actually advise them to continue. Let's maintain each other. Everyone will sit right, and we have a better country. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Damilola. Thank you very much. All right, let's take a quick detour from this particular issue to talk about. In fact, this week has been quite a dramatic week, I must admit. Don't worry, we would come back to the issue of Natasha. We will definitely spotlight that a bit. Maybe not today, but we will definitely spotlight that. But let's talk about what is happening with NANS. NANS means the National Association of Nigerian Students. It is meant to be an association that represents the collective interests of Nigerian students. But is it still serving that purpose? Because it appears that NANS has become heavily politicized. And that didn't just start now. That started a while back. In fact, it is so bad that in the last 10-15 years, we can't point to somebody and say, oh, this is the specific NANS president. We can't point to a convention that took place and then we can say, oh, this convention went on peacefully without any controversy. Their convention is now one where people come in with ammunitions. They come in with the intent that, see, violence can break out at any point. And just when we thought that things were quite fine, then this week, another faction of NANS popped up. And now a self-acclaimed president of NANS, Comrade Atiku Issa, came up and said, see, gentlemen, this and this and this and this was my experience. And then he pointed at a very important figure. I mean, important within the political setting now. The son of President Bola Tinubu. We pointed accusations at Sheyi Tinubu. He said, see, you see, Sheyi has tried to interfere in the affairs of this student body. Speaking during the inauguration of the association On Tuesday in Abuja, Issa alleged that Sheyi planned to disrupt the inauguration of the executives, and so the association had to hastily organize the inauguration so that they can keep Sheyi and possible disruptors at bay. I want you to listen to Atiku Issa, Comrade Atiku Issa. Listen to him and some of the allegations that he has made before we then get into the conversation. This is Comrade Atiku Issa, and this is what he said at the inauguration. To him and some of the allegations that he has made before we then get into the conversation.
I was invited to Lagos to meet with Sheyi. I met with Sheyi and the Minister for Youth. The Minister for Youth, when he saw me, he hugged me in Lagos. We talked, and I was to be offered 100 million naira. But the thing is, it's not all about money. There are things which I stand for. You cannot ask me to begin to promote a president who has not done something for me to say he has done it. If he does something good, I will promote him. We will support him as the president and commander-in-chief. But where he is, you cannot say I should keep quiet. I won't do that. That we couldn't settle. And they felt that I'm being stubborn not to accept money and to come to Lagos without accepting money and going back. So they planned my abduction, and on the 15th, I was abducted. Of April, I was abducted, stripped naked, beaten seriously, in collaboration with the MD of NTA. The MD of NTA, I was packaged to NTA to make involuntary statement that I am no longer, that I have renounced my position as NAN's president. I did that to gain my freedom, but immediately I released a press statement. I was invited to Lagos to meet with Sheyi. It was under duress, and because I was naked, I was beaten. They claimed that they will share the video. That Sheyi told them that they can share the video, nothing will happen. And that even if they kill me, he will order. That was the word Ladoja used. It is Ladoja that is telling me this. That he will instruct, yes, he will instruct the Inspector General of Police to cover it up. And if he doesn't do that, he will go. So I now asked, even this morning when somebody was telling me that, you know who Sheyi is, I say, yes, Sheyi is an ordinary citizen like myself. He's not occupying any official position. I told them yesterday, I made it clear, that even if I'm coming to this hall and I'll be shot, I'll still come to this hall. At the end, today, the inauguration is concluded and I'm the NAN's president. I want Nigeria's position as NAN's president. I did that to gain my freedom, but immediately I released a press statement that I was forced, it was under duress, and because I was naked, I was beaten. They claimed that they will share the video. That Sheyi told them that they can share the video, nothing will happen. And that even if they kill me, he will order. That was the word Ladoja used. It is Ladoja that is telling me this. That he will instruct, yes, he will instruct the Inspector General of Police to cover it up. And if he doesn't do that, he will go. So I now asked, even this morning when somebody was telling me that, you know who Sheyi is, I say, yes, Sheyi is an ordinary citizen like myself. He's not occupying any official position. I told them yesterday, I made it clear, that even if I'm coming to this hall and I'll be shot, I'll still come to this hall. At the end, today, the inauguration is concluded and I'm the NAN's president. I want Nigerians to know what has happened and that we are not going to give up and that Sheyi can do anything he wants to do. He's already in this hotel. This inauguration wouldn't have held. You can see the organization is not correct. See the way the things was hardly done. Told the MC, quickly start. Don't do no protocol. Do the inauguration as long as though they will be arresting or killing the NAN's president now, who controls over 40 million Aluta forces. So I want to, for the want of time, I don't want to take much of our time, but I have told you in brief. So we cannot say, the most important thing which my government, which we want to do as leaders of NANS, is that we will fight the cultists. We will take away cultism from NANS, the touts from NANS. They are just a bunch of touts and criminal elements. When politicians want to do anything, they recruit them to do all of these things, and that is what we have come to fight. I need your support for us to be able to do this, because without you supporting me, supporting our leadership, there's no way we'll be able to achieve this, because these people have gone far. They have no shame. I want to say, finally, that Sheyi Tinubu is a very bad example to the Nigerian youths. And the worst thing that will happen to Nigeria will be for Sheyi Tinubu to become the governor of Lagos State. He has no shame, he has no character. I have been strapped naked, he has my video in his phone. If we are in a country where things work, they are supposed to trace that in his phone, and he should be prosecuted. I do not know if, what he wants to do with my naked video in his phone. It is also in the phone of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Student Affairs. The Secretary, while we went to submit a letter to the Minister of Defense, The essay to the Minister of His Defense told him that he saw my naked video while they were beating me. That is also in his own phone. This is the country that we are, but they are making a mistake with the wrong person. The honest solution to this for them to do the right thing, or they should quickly terminate my life. I thank you very much. I was invited to Lagos to meet with Sheyi. I met with Sheyi and the Minister for Youth. The Minister for Youth, when he saw me, he hugged me in Lagos.
That yes, I will be able to join you at 8:30. Well, this is 8:36. And Comrade Atiku Abubakar Isa is yet to pick calls. I am not sure why. I hope that he is fine. But I am hoping that we can have a conversation with him to figure out these allegations that have been made. How and when did they happen? Let him throw some light, on some other parts of these allegations that have been raised. Did he also take part in the elections? That is something I'm curious to know. But Sheyi Tinubu has responded. He has denied involvement in the NANS crisis. He says the controversy surrounding the leadership of the National Association of Nigerian Students, is saying that, see, how can someone lie with so much confidence and attempt to defame my character? May God be with you. Comrade Atiku, he said that was what she wrote. He then went ahead to say, I've never held any meeting to discuss any subject matter with Comrade Isa in Lagos or anywhere else in the world. I have never knowingly met him before. Neither did I visit any location with thugs. All these allegations made by Atiku Isa are completely fictional. Okay, I can see some calls coming in. Okay, we'll take some calls. But I'm definitely going to speak to Comrade Ridwan Ajayi. Comrade Ridwan Ajayi is the spokesperson of NANS in Lagos State. And he has a different version of the story. But, we had presumed that we would have this conversation with him right after we must have talked to Comrade Atiku Isa. So we would have to tilt a bit towards 9 o'clock before I then bring him on this particular conversation. Hello, good morning.
Hey, Sam.
Good morning.
How are you doing, my brother?
Fine, Ambassador Musbao, I believe.
Let me start from the first topic about the BLT driver.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to commend my fellow comrades, especially Comrade Kendi Adeoye, CDHL Lagos State Coordinator. They try a lot because we follow this case from bomber to bomber until we get judgment. So I want to commend, kudos to CDHL and other activist lawyers who do the backup to get this judgment. To me, and we want to see the outcome. We are waiting, calling all the governors to do the needful. When judgment has been served, it's really uncalled for when some kudos winning to others. And those who are involved in all this should be aware that the message catch up with them. And those who are at run, they will be caught.
Ambassador Musbao, okay. Go on.
Yes, hello?
Yes, I just wanted a quick question.
Condition of the nurse.
Okay.
To me, what people do in the name of Aluta this time around is not encouraging at all. Because everything has been politicized, including the NLC. You can see NLC who are supporting one party or the other, and the nurse. So to me, it shouldn't be. I think the duty of the nurse is for the right of the student and the welfare of the student. That's all. But to me, we can see what they are doing. All of them running with politicians, drive a luxurious car. It's still, to me, it's uncalled for. To me, all this is stopped. Okay. Mainly for the right of the student and the welfare of the student. That only should be the duty of the nurse. Let me stop here for the others to come.
All right. Thank you very much, Ambassador Musbao. Now, I ask you of the judgments given on the issue involving the late Bamishi Anyawole. And one, it is that why does it appear that our governors are quite hesitant in signing off on death warrants? Why? Do you have any idea why? I think this is something that I'd like to explore further. So, do you have any idea why? That is one question I want you to answer, or provide what you think may be the answer when you call. Secondly, for those who were members of NANS previously, or you are familiar with their operations, just before, we speak, to Comrade Ridwan, the other question would be, is NANS still of any use to Nigerian students? Should it perhaps be scrapped completely? I was a student for several years in higher institution, and I must confess, I had no idea what that organization was involved in. I had no idea what they were up to. Well, you may say, okay, maybe because I attended a private institution. Okay, fine. But I speak to some of my colleagues, who even went to, and they say, oh, yes, Aluta. Everything happens within the confines of the institution, but outside of the institution, what happens with NANS? Has that association outlived its usefulness, or is it still of any use whatsoever, to the public? Those are the two questions I want you to ponder on this morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. All right, 0805 5888 192. 0805 5888 192. Or you can try 0805 5888 193. Please do not forget, you're streaming live on Facebook. You're streaming live on Facebook at Adamimogo 931 FM. I would appreciate if you go drop a comment there so I can read that out loud. Tijani Olawale Ismail. Well, I believe you're writing a lengthy one for me this morning. Okay, send it. I will definitely read it. I will read it. Oluwafunkeri Jesu Olaiwaju is saying, of course, now that he's facing justice, definitely, if there's any other person involved, he will mention them. He will not like to suffer alone. Okay, thank you very much, Madam Oluwafunkeri Jesu. Brown Mister, thank you. You're saying the program has an impact. Raji Abidemi Ridwanulai, good morning to you. Olaleke Olutoyin, good morning to you. Okay, let's take some calls. 0805 5888 192. 0805 5888 192. Or 0805 5888 193. Now, if you feel that you do not want to call, or you're having issues with calling and you want to send us a voice note via WhatsApp, I want you to listen attentively and take down this number. The number to send a WhatsApp voice note to. I'm not asking you to call. I'm asking you to send a WhatsApp voice note to 08099 931 931. 08099 931 931. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yes. On the segment of that.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So the thing is, I think we will need to.
Damilola, I don't think the network has been fair to you. I'm not sure why. Maybe you have to change where you are. Please try and do that. Change where you are so that you can get in. But if you're having any other difficulty, just send a voice note to 08099 931 931. 08099 931 931. Send me a voice note and I will definitely play that. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Hello, good morning. Can
Yes.
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning. What's your name? What is happening with the network? And you see, this justifies why the NLC and a lot of Nigerians are saying, see, what exactly are we paying for? Well, even though the some of the networks have come out to say, see, by the end of the year, the network is going to be better because we're bringing in new equipment and, we're doing a lot of things. But we need you to work fast and work faster. We can't continue to delay these things. How can we pay so much? And, we continue to have these issues with network. It should be seamless. It should be near perfect. It should be excellent. Because we're paying a lot. Either you like it or not. I know what I would have, how many minutes I would get on airtime. What about 200 naira? I know the number of minutes I get now. So please, network providers, do better. We want you to do better. Now's the time to do better. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you.
Yeah, I'm Comrade Abiodun Olayinka, calling from Ikorodu.
Good morning, comrade.
Yeah, my take on the NANS and the judgment that was, recently served. Yeah, I want to commend the justice who actually take the vote because it takes courageous justice to see a valid judgment. I want to commend him for that.
You mean the judge? Are you referring to the judge or the government?
The judge.
Okay.
The judge.
Comrade Sherifat.
Then
Okay.
also,
I mean
let me
justice.
also commend the governor of Lagos State for giving, for allow the judgment to come to life, because if he had interfered, we may not see the judgment. We may not see the judgment, at this time.
Why should the governor interfere in the first instance?
No. I'm not saying he interfered. The government, if the governor, or the government show interest in the case, perhaps the power that be, involved in this, they might look for one way or the other to keep the judgment under the carpet. That's the point I'm trying to do.
But what I'm saying is that there should be no basis for that in a place where there is law and order. Except the government has something to hide, and I do not want to think that the government has something to hide.
Of course, that's why I still want to commend the sitting governor and the government.
Okay.
Now, on the reason why some of the governors don't want to sign the death warrant document.
Yeah.
I think some of them feel that they are human beings and they don't want to sign any. Of course, they are forgetting that they occupy that office to put things in place. So, for me, that is, they see themselves as human beings, forgetting that they are there to put some things in place. That is that. On the issue of NANS,
Yes.
NANS supposed to be a pressure group for the government to cater for the welfare of the students in the higher institution. But today, they are dedicated for the purpose of forming the National Association of Nigerian Students. They have dedicated, they have politicized it due to the money exchange hand for the politicians, because they are now the tools in the hands of politicians at different levels. That's why you see the group of people who call themselves, they are the ones They are the authentic bank executive,
Okay.
meaning that money has changed hands from politician A, B, C, D. So, with that, it will be difficult for us to have, a pressure group like now. NSC, look at NSC of today. So, my dear brother, we got help us.
All right. Thank you very much, Comrade Abiodun. Thank you. All right. Let's take maybe one or two calls. 0825-588-192. Hello. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes. Good morning.
Yeah. What the man is trying to explain is just that the governor is the chief executive crime officer. Anytime he's a governor. So it's not that like he's working on his house or he's working on his phone. A governor has to be bold. He has to sign it. But no governor wants to sign it now. No governor wants to say it is my name or it is this. They don't want his name to be there. If you don't want your name to be there, if you cannot be bold as a person, you cannot be a governor. And this is Lagos State. Everybody has to be bold. Because in this time around, if you cannot speak out, you know what it is. You have to speak out.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, let's quickly connect with Comrade Ridwan Ajayi. Comrade Ridwan Ajayi is the spokesperson of the National Association of Nigerian Students in Lagos State. I understand that he wants this to be brief because of other commitments, so we will try and just make this as fire-packed as possible and keep it as simple as possible. All right, Comrade Ridwan Ajayi, good morning to you. Comrade.
Yes, good morning.
Yes.
I'm with you.
All right, thank you for joining us this morning. Unfortunately, we could not speak to Comrade Atiku Abubakar Isa, who had assured us that he was going to be available this morning. So we have to quickly switch on to you. But first, who is Comrade Atiku Abubakar Isa? Is he a Nigerian student? Is he recognized within NANS? And what exactly is his current status?
Okay, so I've not heard about who Comrade Abubakar Atiku. Atiku Isa is until the media issue of him claiming to be the president. He has never contested for any NANS election before. I was at the convention, even before the convention, presidential candidates came to Lagos to meet with us, to speak with us, of which Comrade Ladoja was one of them. And at no point was the time where Atiku came to Lagos to speak with us or anything like that. So we don't know him. He's not a student, he's not a member of NANS, he's nothing whatsoever as far as the student movement in Nigeria is concerned.
Okay, so these allegations, have you bothered to perhaps find out if there is any iota of truth in them?
What allegation particularly?
He has raised several allegations. One, that he was forced out of the elections, that he was that the son of the president, Sheyi Tinubu, led some talks to, deal with him. He was offered 100 million naira. I'm very sure that either way you must have asked some bit of questions. I'm curious as to what you've been able to make of all this.
Like that happened. It has never happened. There was never a time. If he has any evidences as to whether he was forced out anywhere, any video evidence, he can release it to the media now so they can see. There was never a time where any talk was led. He didn't come to our convention at Abuja, that is what I'm saying. He did not participate in the election at all. I have the press statement that we drafted in Lagos. I was the one who wrote the statement congratulating Comrade Ladoja the day after the election. That was March 2nd, 2025. And then I have picture evidences of when Comrade Ladoja came to Lagos State to campaign and to mobilize to see how we can support him. He came down to Lagos State, visited tertiary institutions, and visited the NANS Lagos State. We were already in office at that time. We have all of these pictures. There was no time I think Isa or whatsoever came to engage with us. He did not contest. He was not in Abuja. There is no single flyer of him contesting. This is another question you can throw to him. He should provide a flyer of when he contested to be NANS president in this country or in the student movement. I've never seen any in my life. At least if you want to contest to be the president of over 40 million students in this country, you should have a flyer. You should have done some certain kind of consultation and, campaigns. You should have moved from state to state. You cannot contest from Abuja alone. You should have visited the geopolitical zone. You should have visited the JCCs, which is the NANS JCC in each state across the country. You did not do any of that. I've never heard of him before until this crisis. So you cannot talk about someone like that who did not even contest at all, and then we are now going to start having a conversation as to whether the allegations of him being president was true or that he was offered 100 million. For what reason? You did not contest. You are not even part of the process at all. So there's no point whatsoever in even taking him serious in the first place.
All right, but one thing that is of concern to most Nigerians is that anytime you have a NANS convention, there's usually some element of controversy surrounding it. We've seen several clips from the past, so many things. It just appears that there's a lot of controversy linked to the operations, the affairs of NANS. Why has NANS seemingly failed, to have a reputation that is perhaps cool and less controversial?
Well, I will not completely say to you that there's no controversial when it comes to the operation of NANS in the past, and that is the reason why people like us who are legitimate students, have come up to say, look, we want to always be part of the leadership process. We want to contest for election. We do not want the situation whereby people who are not students anymore, we come up to say they want to be student leaders in our own country, in our own student movement. And that is why we are changing the narrative. You can do your investigations and make your research. This last election that was held late February to 2nd of March has to be the most peaceful in recent times. There was no single gunshot, no life was lost, nobody was, brutalized and all of that. So you can make all of these findings. We know there are controversies, there are issues, there is, but then some of us are trying to see how we can be part of the process and to see how we can rebuild some of these things that has been destroyed by some sort of in the past.
NANS has become increasingly politicized. That's a submission that a lot of people have made. It's one that is almost very obvious to people. You say that you're trying to rebuild NANS and help its reputation, but how do you want to save NANS from the jaws of politicians?
Well, I think, like I said earlier, how we can make all of that happen is when we begin to start talking about our students from campus to campus, to allow legitimacy of you being a student and you need to participate. The idea around the hijack of politicians controlling the student movement is because we allow people who are not students, we allow people who are not even part of our association to contest election, to win election, and then at the end of the day they are not answerable to anybody when they get to office. I hope you get my point. But the moment we begin to start preaching that our own students, like myself now, I'm a 400 level student at the University of Lagos, they are following, and every other member of the executive in Lagos as well. Our chairman is a student of Yaba Tech. We are legitimate student, original student. The moment we start, pushing this thing and start ensuring that our own students are made student leaders, and then, by that way, students can be these student leaders can be accountable directly to the student. They can be dragged directly by the students, because once you are not a student anymore and you get any political influence whatsoever, there's no student that will drag you because you are not even a student in the first place. It won't be easy to even talk to you, to say, look, you are doing this, is not right, it is not in the interest of the student. Because you are not even a student, you don't even understand the student's struggle and what the student is facing. What you are after is just the money and all of that. So we will start this restructuring and this rebuilding by ensuring that our own students are the key stakeholders and those who contested in the leadership.
All right. I get that, Comrade Ridwan Ajayi, but I'd also like to know, at this moment, what exactly is NANS doing for Nigerian students? And you mentioned about 40 million Nigerian students. I want to know, are these students just restricted to public institutions, or do they also include those from private institutions?
Well, NANS is of two structure. If I may, explain that to you, we have the national level, the zonal level, which is the 6 geopolitical zones in the country, and we also have the state level, of which we belong to. Hope you understand. So,
Yeah.
the national level, comprises of every tertiary institution in the country, university, student, college of education, polytechnic. Hope you are following. So, private institutions are also added, because once you are a student, you are automatically a member of NANS according to the Charter of Demand and the Constitution of the association. So the primary objective and primary responsibility of this association is to protect and defend the interests of students and their welfare at large, you know. So, and that is what we have been doing as far as Lagos is concerned. I will not speak for the national level. I will not speak for the zonal level as well, you know. In recent time, there have been issues bordering around welfare of students, board killings and all of that, and we have intervened from time to time. Every of these things are there. You know, we have been very active since we got into office, and we are right now, as I speak to you now, we are having a campus tours visiting tertiary institutions in Lagos to understand their problem, grassroots conversations with them, to see how we can even come up to protect and defend their interests and their welfare as well. So as for us in Lagos, I will not speak for Zoom action. That is what we are doing.
I'm curious as to why you do not want to speak for those at the zonal and the national level. Do you have any form of discontent in their mode of operation at the zonal and national level?
Yeah, like I said, sir, I really do not have any. Well, I can say that the mode of operation for national level, the zonal level, and state level are different. If you understand, so there are ways at which we operate at the state level that I cannot, that is not as how they operate at the zonal and the national level. So I'm the PRO for NANS Lagos, not for zone or for national. So I can only speak for my own state, my own GCC. As you understand. So,
Okay. I'm also curious as to what has been the level of support provided by, or involvement provided by the son of the president, Mr. Sheyi Tinubu.
well, as for us in Lagos State, during our election and after our election, Tinubu is not part of NANS, and he has never provided any support. We do not know him. I've never met him before in my life, so I don't have any relationship.
And you've not had any conversation from any other person that suggested that he has provided some element of support, perhaps?
Well, whatever it is that anybody has to say about him is their own personal conversation, personal decision. As for my own self, our own business, we stand neutral in all of this, and we don't have any affiliation to whatever it is that any other person, be it the zone or national, are doing in terms of the affiliation with politicians. Our own position in Lagos State is that we remain non-partisan, and we do not participate or involve in the political things. We are for the students, and we protect and defend interests. Our conversations only border around the issue of student welfare in the Lagos State, and that's what we have been doing. We have no affiliation with any political party whatsoever. We have no affiliation with any politician whatsoever. This is a new administration, like I said. I will not even also speak for those in the past who have held leadership in this state as well. Because I'm very, but then we are speaking for our own administration, and it's what we have been doing since we got to office January this year.
All right. Thank you very much, Comrade Ridwan Ajayi. Just one final thing, and that is about what right now, what exactly do you want the government or perhaps the leadership of the institutions, especially here in Lagos, to do for students? I'm curious as to what's the most pressing concern of students across. I know you said you've been doing a tour. I want to know what exactly have you learned from that you want to push ahead to government as well as the administrations of the institutions to fix for students?
Well, the first major concern that we have learned is the security issue of our students. You know, there has been a theme of conversation from each campus. Students are complaining about the security of the campus. There are some issues that happened in Yabatek, I think, a few days ago, where students were killed outside the gates. As a matter of fact, we are at their campus for a campus stop, and then we heard that somebody was just killed. We had to follow the police and to the South Police Station, and that took us to the Commissioner of Police next day to ensure that the perpetrators are listed and that the security architecture of the institution is stressed. And then I made it to also say you can check online that 8 of the suspects who actually carried out this court killings were arrested, some days later. So, and it has been the same issue in other institutions as well. The case of FC Akoka as well, there has been some leadership crisis for the past 8 months, and now it is directly affecting the students, their security and their welfare. As we speak today in FC Akoka, students are actually facing security challenges, and that they, made some claim that some external persons who are not students come to their institutions to come and harass and then, we have also tried to see how we can intervene, ensuring that take the matter up. We are also calling on this is opportunity to call on the federal government and the Federal Ministry of Education to urgently look into the crisis of leadership, because as we speak, there is no leadership, there is no progress on that campus. For 8 months, and it has affected the students so much, their welfare and their security. So aside from the security issue, students are also complaining about the infrastructure and their safety. And this is another direct message to the government and the University College of Education and Polytechnic Administrator that they need to do better in terms of the welfare and infrastructure of the students, in terms of building good toilets for students so they can have access to all of this. They have classroom problems from the federal state institutions. There is not enough classrooms. The welfare conditions of students are bad. They learn under harsh conditions, and we pay heavily for all of these things. As we speak, from last year right to this year to next year, on yearly basis, fee hikes all across campuses. And the more they do all of these hikes, the less benefit that the student gets, the less condition, the worse they get bad condition in return for, the fee hikes. Their hostels are not in good conditions. Students have problems with the hostel conditions as well. So aside the security issue, their general welfare, the hostels, the classroom, their infrastructure, has been in bad conditions. So we are calling on the government something urgent in this matter. To ensure that they also make the university administrators, college administrators, and polytechnic administrators accountable whatever it is that has been allocated to them. Okay. There are several cases of school administrators, who are being, proved for corrupt activities and all of that. I read about a press conference on last Protect Vice Chancellor, who has been facing a corruption issue amounting to about 2 billion naira. All of these are totally unacceptable, and it directly affects the students one way or the other, because when when university administrators are corrupt and they already stole so much that the benefit that the students should get, they are not able to get anymore, then we begin to have problem, and that is where the infrastructural problem starts from. That is where the accommodation problem starts from. That is where so you begin to wonder that some of these crises that even students face can be avoidable, but because of the corruption that has eaten deep into our system, and that is directly and very much active in our education sector as well. So I will begin to start talking about all of these things, start being vocal about all of this, and start calling on the government as well to not just allocate funds for these institutions, to not just push money to them, but to ensure that they trace those money, and to ensure that everything that has been used or allocated, even that of test fund, are well monitored to ensure that they are being used for what they are actually going to be used for. And some persons are not just sitting somewhere to siphon all of this. So on the security, we are calling on the government and the security agencies to see how they can help us set up campus security watch close to our tertiary institutions in Lagos State, to see how they can strengthen security on campus so students doesn't they're not worried on their own campus.
All right. Just one point that you made that also struck me was that fees are likely to be hiked this year, next year, or even in the year to come. And one thing just came to my mind. I assume that NEL Fund, that's the Students' Loan Scheme, is meant to ease the burden of these fee hikes. So far, has that worked? Has that, been of any benefit to ease the burden on students and parents? From your own assessment.
On the student loan and NEL fund issue, I must say to you, if I have to be sincere, that the process as which students actually access all of this loan, the pace they are very slow. And then you begin to wonder that what is even the essence of the loan if you have to apply for it, and then you have to pay yourself, you have to borrow money to pay, and then you expect the loan. And it has become a thing of the media now that even some tertiary institutions, their management are actually withholding this fund. They are not letting it get through to the students directly, even after it has been released to the institution. And if you force some of the students so that they cannot lose the academic section, they will have to go and look for money to pay. And once they pay, the institution tends not to even release this fund.
The one that the students sourced and paid.
Yes. So it is important that even as we talk about student loan, we need to start talking about the process at which this loan are being disbursed, that they are not disbursed directly to students, and the management that they are disbursing this money to the school authorities, some of them are withholding this money. They are not releasing it to the student, and this has caused serious problems, affected. To even start with, if we even have to have this proper conversation, student loan is not supposed to be the solution to students, to easing financial burden on students. Why not use that money that you are using that you are saying you want to borrow students? Why not use it to fund the education properly so that students don't pay too much? So that's supposed to even be the conversation. As for me, my own personal opinion, I do not agree with the student loan scheme. You get my point. I totally disagree with it that even the process is not transparent enough, and a lot of students learn, a lot of students go through so much pain even after they have applied, and it is already a burden on them. And these are loans that have been applied in their name, and even if it is not released to them, they will still have to pay. So it's a serious issue.
All right. Thank you very much, Comrade Ridwan Ajayi is the spokesperson of the National Association of Nigerian Students in Lagos State chapter. It's been a pleasure having this conversation with you, Comrade Ridwan. Thank you for joining us this morning.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. right. I really do not do this, but I must say that I have left Comrade Atiku Abakar Isa some 6 or perhaps 7 calls that he must have missed. Still wondering why he has not called back. And please let us be very clear. This person confirmed to me that he would be available to speak with us this morning from the hours of 8:30 to 9 a.m. So I'm not sure why he has decided to evade. If he was not going to be available, I believe that he wouldn't have said yes, and he wouldn't have asked that we go on with this particular session. So that is on Comrade Atiku Abakar Isa. But you listened to Comrade Ridwan Ajayi. You heard what he said. He made some submissions. First, he said Atiku Abakar Isa is not known to them as one of the presidential aspirants, that he never contested, they didn't see him, they don't know him, and that that's Comrade Ridwan, is only hearing about him for the first time this week because of all these controversies that have started. One. Two, one other takeaway from that conversation is he doesn't want to speak for the operations of those at the zonal and the national level. But he's saying, well, since they came in January, they've tried to fix certain things. The third takeaway is that he is saying that students must be allowed to occupy those positions, those leadership positions, so that they can be held accountable. That a lot of non-students, which would imply that a lot of non-students are showing up so that they can contest. I recall that the man who is now SSA to Mr. President, Comrade Ashefon, I recall that I had interviewed him when he was contesting to be president at the time, and I know the controversy that surrounded his own emergence, as president of NANS at the time. There were conversations around his age. There were conversations, I think he's a lot better. There were conversations about, his studentship. There were also conversations about his persona, so many other things that were discussed at the time. And I believe maybe that's why Comrade Ridwan said, I don't want to talk about those in the past. I don't want to talk about those at national and zonal level. But at this point, they just want to talk about what they are doing at the state level. Again, he has also made an appeal to the government, saying, gentlemen, please try and ensure that we have security for students on campus. And finally, on student loans, he's saying personally he doesn't believe in it and that the process is extremely slow. So this week we had some controversy around NEL Fund, and I'm going to try and break that down as much as possible. The conversation is not outrightly saying that, NEL Fund, the guys at NEL Fund have been stealing funds. They're simply saying that, see, we know that there have been some allegations, and these allegations about diversions, we want to figure it out. And that is something that Comrade Ridwan has referenced, meaning that the process of applying for these loans is usually very slow. Very slow. And so if they don't disburse these funds immediately, the universities or the institutions involved then say, okay, you have to find a way to pay because NEL Fund has not released that fund. And as a result, students have to go and look for this money. When NEL Fund finally disburses these funds, they don't tell students that, see, the money has come in. When the students find out that this money has come in, they have to go and spend a huge amount of money. I learned a particular institution will ask you to go and pay roughly 12,000 naira to process a refund. And students are wondering, why do they have to pay that much to process a refund? When they even process these refunds will not get to them immediately, which is one thing that the NANS spokesperson in Lagos has just referenced as one of the issues. Yeah. And that's why we keep asking, do we blame that too on Mr. President? Whose fault is that? Is it the president that has held on to the funds or the university? And then another instance is that institutions, you put in a school fees. You know the school fees is just 20,000 naira. And then on the portal, you say, oh, it's 40,000 naira. Which means that when the student even pays 20,000, let's say you're making an assumption. When the student pays 20,000 naira, you collect 40,000 naira from the fund, and you don't want to even give the students their 20,000 naira back. And then that student also has to bear the burden of owing the federal government 40,000 naira instead of 20,000 naira. This is Nigeria for you. This is Nigeria for you. Okay, let's take some calls. 0805 5888 192 or 0805 5888 193. Hello, good morning.
I agree with you. This is Nigeria for you. Most times, we are the problem of ourselves. You know, so I agree with the Cameroon Ajayi to some extent. You know, the student union has to be those who are still in school. I think the control now, not outside the net. So I even hear some of them who are not in school, who just do ND, OND. So it shouldn't be. Just as we are not a student, take care of our now. It should be for the main student. Agree to him. I with him on that. On the issue of the loan, yes, it's too slow. I agree. But for me, that student need the loan. If I disagree that someone, yes, they should make it affordable, and also do something about the students then affordable. Let the school fee affordable. I agree on that. It is why we need now to be. You know, I listen to the president sometimes when he called the youth congress. Yes, he said that please talk to me direct. So I think the now should do something that they can spoke with the president direct. So they can maybe president aware what is going on. So I believe president they don't know the way they go about this loan. The way it's slow, maybe it's so that I believe president is not aware of this. If the student can just gather themselves, let the president direct. This is what we are going through concerning this. This is politicize everything. So I think those are in school to take care of the now. That's my thing. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Musbao. Yeah. Okay. 0805 5888 192 0805 5888 888 192 or 0805 5888 193. That's another revelation there. Nel Fund, student loan. The processing is too slow. Too slow. Are you going to blame President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for that? You obviously know he's not the one in charge of Nel Fund. Oh, let's even assume Nel Fund is just a baby. It is still coming up. It can be slow. But what about institutions? Institutions that after receiving the monies do not even make refunds to students who have found a way to pay. How about institutions that inflate the fees and put the burden on the student? Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning to you. What's your name? What's your name?
I'm Benjamin, calling from Lagos, Nigeria.
All right. Good morning, Benjamin. Let's have your thoughts this morning.
Yeah, my thoughts. I'm not a student again. But the guy, honorable, really did well. But while you are analyzing it away, there is a point you missed, which I think should be in the public knowledge. About his affiliation or the affiliation of Nance with the son of Mr. President. We did not say anything about that.
Yeah.
I think you need to do justice to that aspect too.
But because in reference,
that flooded the media space. I do not know why he's not been responding to your calls, honestly. Because we are eagerly waiting to hear from him. But unfortunately, I don't know why he has refused to pick his call. Is that politics or what? Thank you, and have a good day.
Thank you very much, Benjamin. I honestly cannot tell why he is no longer responding to calls. I honestly can't tell why he's not responding to calls, both offline and also, I mean, the regular calls as well as the WhatsApp calls. He's not responding to either of them. But about the president's son and his involvement in NANS, don't forget I asked that question from Comrade Ridwan, and he said, see, I can't speak for the national level, I can't speak for the zonal level, but at the state level, he says that Sheyi Tinubu is not involved. He says that he has never met Sheyi Tinubu. And I asked, in the course of your conversation and in running of your affairs, have you heard anybody, talk about his influence? He says, well, he hasn't had much, and that if he has even had, that is that person's business. So we have not been able to certify or to affirm or dismiss the level of involvement of the president's son in NANS for now. That's another takeaway. Thank you, Benjamin, for calling my attention to that. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you.
I greet you. I don't really remember because I'm just came to the station now.
Okay.
What's
your name? Your name again? All right, go on.
According to concerning the discussion that is going on now, they are discussing. You see, I want to be particular about the young men.
Okay.
You see, what the president should now know that there are a lot of groups and individuals who want to sabotage all his efforts. And he's not mindful of it because they are not letting him know. They are not letting him know. So I would suggest, like what Fashola used to do these days, he should make his number available if possible, so that people will tell him what is going on in the society. You see, they will disperse money to schools, and they will not sit on it. And people will be using it to castigate his administration. I don't know why it is so.
Okay.
So please, if there's a way he's listening to this, yes, please do me a favor to make it somehow, I don't know how the president himself, not the president, the president himself, because people are around him and not telling him what is going on, and because they are speaking on him. So
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. The president, I think that's a question that a lot of people are also asking. Does the president know what is going on? And I remember that just yesterday I was watching the interview that one of the people I call Egmons in the industry, that is Mr. Rufai Hussaini, had an interview with the governor of Abia State, Alex Oti, and he kept on asking, do you people tell Mr. President what the situation is? And I don't think that Alex Oti gave a satisfactory answer to that, he has said. But Tijani Olawale Ismail on Facebook is saying, I'm not exactly sure, and I do not want to take that part because I do not want to moderate. But you're saying, what I mean is that the current set of Nigerian politicians are now confidently bringing their children into the system of politics and saying to our faces that Nigeria belongs to them, and only them have all it takes to rule and lead this country, as they have amassed so much wealth to purchase the party nomination forms worth millions of naira, which a common man on the street cannot afford. It is a pity that most of our religious and traditional leaders are keeping mute, as they cannot rebuke or advise this government, though they are getting their own shares from the national cake, and that might have been the cause of their muteness. Good morning. Thank you very much, Tijani Olawale Ismail. But Tijani, I'm going to ask you a question. I believe that it is the desire of almost every father that their children, surpasses them or attains the status that they have been able to attain in life. And so I do not think that it is going to be completely unusual to find instances in which children follow the path of their or of their parents. I'm going to make reference to the U.S. You had Senator Prescott Bush. After Senator Prescott Bush, you had George H.W. Bush Senior, George Bush Senior, who was, vice president and then eventually president. His own son was also governor. That's George Bush Jr. was governor and subsequently, was president, two-time president of the U.S. Don't also forget that even George Bush's brother, Jeb Bush, was also governor. I think he was governor of Florida, but failed, when he tried to get the presidential ticket of. We've had all these things do happen. So I do not think that it is an exception with Nigeria. I do not think that it is something that should seriously surprise you. But just like you said, the common man. So maybe the common man on the streets can have a party for common people where they can also affirm the mandate of common people. Daniel Ali Ismail, thank you for your comment. I usually look forward to reading from you. Don't forget that we're still streaming live on Facebook at Adamimogo 931 FM. I want to read your comments from there. If you want to send a voice note, I'm yet to get any voice notes, but just in case you're trying the phone lines and you're not getting access and you want to send us a voice note, you can do that via 08099 931 931. 08099 931 931. I must also tell you that, you can also call the phone lines just in case you tuned in a little bit late, like the last caller. 0805 5888 192, 0805 5888 192, or 0805 5888 193, 0805 5888 193. Today has gone a little bit unplanned because the idea was, we would talk a bit about Bamishe, which I think we already touched on. We're going to talk to Comrade Atiku Bakar Issa and then have our conversation after that with Comrade Ridwan Ajayi. But things have panned out differently because Comrade Issa has refused. I think that's the only word I can use right now, has refused to acknowledge or pick his calls, despite him giving us assurances that he was going to be available this morning at 8:30. But not to worry, if you missed the question I asked earlier, I'm going to just pose that question all over again to you this morning. First, it is on the issue of with Andrew Naisominikaran now getting the death sentence by hanging. The question is, why does it appear that governors in Nigeria are hesitant to sign off on death warrants? It's a big question, a question that has been posed time and time and time again, especially in the last 10 years thereabout. I recall that even Senator Adams Oshiomhole at some point had made reference to this and said he doesn't understand why governors are a bit hesitant to sign the death warrant. And then the next question is, NANS, has it outlived its usefulness for Nigerian students, or do you think that it is still of any use to Nigerian students? Thank you very much, Bada Babatunde Jr. Bada Babatunde Jr. is saying, I really want Nigeria to be better so much. See, that is what each and every one of us, that is what we want, that is what we desire. That is why we put in this effort that we put in. come in on a daily basis and say, hey, Nigeria must be a better place. We love this country. All right, I'm going to play you something from Nice. Nice is going to be singing about Glass House. And right after that, just make sure that you have your comments all loaded up on Facebook at Adamimogo931FM. Make sure that you share, make sure that you like, make sure that you drop a comment. And as soon as that song is done playing, I will take further comments, take further calls before we say, well, see you on Monday. This is Nice with Glass House.
Where you make today go determine your rise. You follow tomorrow. Remember tomorrow. Tomorrow get it better. Tomorrow. Yeah. Those where live for glass house, not a true story. Those where live for glass house, not a true story. I said those where live for glass house, not a true story. Those where live for glass house, not a true story. Oh man, it told my Balasoko. Oh man, it told me Balasoko. If you do good, go follow you. Good go follow you. If you do bad, the bad go follow you. Bad go follow you. If you do good go follow you. Good go follow you. If you do bad, the bad go follow you. Bad go follow you. Decision where you make today go determine your rise. You follow tomorrow. Remember tomorrow. Tomorrow get it better. Tomorrow. Those where live for glass house, not a true story. Those where live for glass house, not a true story. I say those where live for glass house, not a true story. Those where live for glass house, not a true story.
In case you tuned in a bit late, you're listening to Reflections on Adamimogo 93.1 FM. We're streaming live on Facebook at Adamimogo 931 FM. And this morning we've had, a series of conversations One has been on the judgment pronounced on Andrew Nikorn over his role in the murder of Bamishe Ayonwale. And we've also talked about the development with Nance, the conflict there. Friday from away keeps sending me personal messages. But thank you all the same. Friday is saying, good morning, Samuel. I will keep on blaming Mr. President. I don't care. You might be a fan of Mr. President. Why this student loan, for instance? Instead of you to fix the institution and make fees less for the students, no one would be waiting for Mr. President for money. Many people are against the issue of this loan. Even I personally was against it, because I knew this loan of a thing was created for some boys to enrich their pockets, and it would work for the boys. And I've not seen any students in my area that benefited from this loan thing. Can you tell me that Mr. President is not aware of what is happening in every institution of the country? Can you tell me that Mr. President is not listening to radio or on social media? But you people, journalists, are the problems of this country. How do we get here? Comrade Musbao is a fan of this government. Why can't he support him? And those are the same people criticizing some of the actions of the previous government. Now they are the ones drumming for this current government. Thanks, and God bless me and my family. Remain blessed. Friday from away. Do me a favor. Post this comment under the live stream on Facebook at Adamimogo 931 FM. If you go to Adamimogo 931 FM, you'll see us streaming. Just post this comment there, because you sent it to me personally. So that people would know that this is not fiction. But reality is, I am not a fan of the president. I'm as objective as I can be. I think a lot of people here, I've seen some people here who abuse me and say, Sam, you do not like this president. I say, no, it's not about liking. If the president is able to do what is right, we would give him kudos. If he doesn't, we would give him the knocks too. But who are we? We can't even knock the president, but we would criticize the president if we feel that he is taking a wrong direction. I can't say for Ambassador Musbao. And then we have, our job is simply to project these things to you. And about Mr. President listening to radio or social media, I can't answer that question because I do not know. I do not know if he listens. You know, there was a time when he said, well, he doesn't, check out social media anymore, so I do not know. But that is Mr. President for you. So 0805 588 192, 0805 588 192, or 0805 588 193. Oh, 0805 588 193. That is the line you should be calling at this moment to join the conversation. Today is more like an open day. But let's have it. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning to you.
This is Mrs. Oladimeji from Kennedy.
Mrs. Oladimeji, good morning to you. Let's have your submission.
Yes. About that next one, they
Yes.
have filled the form all this while. They haven't paid my daughter, and that one is filling at Laro Polytechnic. And the 20,000 they said they should be giving them, they gave her only 10,000 naira.
Oh, okay. They gave her only 10,000 naira instead of 20,000 naira.
Yes.
Okay, what about the fees?
You see, we have to borrow money to pay the school fees. And we didn't hear anything from the school now.
That is what we are saying. That is why the ICPC is probing Nel Fund, because we've realized that in some cases, Nel Fund eventually paid these fees, but the institutions are not, sending the fees, returning the fees to students. If you've been following the program, that is what the explanation I made earlier, which is one of the reasons why this week ICPC has ordered a probe of, it has summoned some top government officials, both from Nel Fund, and I think it would also cover some institutions, because the NOA came out to clearly say it, that some institutions have been quite dubious with their handling of the Nel Fund, the student loans. So I think what you should find out now from your daughter's institution is if Nel Fund has disbursed that money. And I think maybe they may be able to figure out from the portal if Nel Fund has disbursed that fund to the institution, so that your daughter can then make a request for a refund.
The average agent, they shouldn't have given her 10,000 naira.
Aha! So you get it. So maybe you should figure out what to do by going to demand for a refund of the fees.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. But don't worry. Not to worry. We're going to keep tracking this as it breaks. We would give, but I just gave you a breakdown. This is what we should check out for now. Is has Nel Fund disbursed that fund to you? If you can confirm that the fund has been disbursed to your institution, you should be demanding for a refund. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning to you.
Son is a governor. Did I heard something like that?
Yes, I did. I gave a breakdown of what happens in the U.S., of what has happened in the U.S.
Sir, that country, in Nigeria, we are not feeling well. We are not okay. We are not eating what we want. What are you saying now? What is the country saying now? Now we are going to be worshipping Father and worshipping Son. Nigerian people, everybody is trying to dabba. We must learn to know up our own citizens in our cities. We must learn to have our own place in our place. We cannot do that. I don't think that can work. It's called serious abuse. God be the glory.
All right. Thank you. I'm not sure you gave me your name, but 0805 5888 192 or 0805 5888 193. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, my name is Engineer Efundayo. I'm calling you from Ikorodu.
Engineer Kudayo, good morning to you.
Yeah, please, I want to talk about this Nel Fund issue.
Okay.
Because I've been listening to you, and over the past week,
yes,
there has been all these controversies and all these investigations by the ICPC.
Yes.
I want to say that Nigerians must have a change of heart. You see, it is not only good. We are seeing, sadly, that much as government policies try to help people, the Nigerian factors come in. And this is the issue that the VCs that have been invited now by the ICCC, the issue that they have to face is a Nigerian factor. It's not rulership. All that is happening is pure wickedness. Because I listened to the comments of some people, then I also want to say that there was a woman from Ikorodu that called.
Yes.
I mean, they should Nel Fund. They have a platform on X.
Yes.
I think they have it on other social media.
Yes.
Where they list the disbursement to every institution.
Indeed.
So they should try and follow up Nel Fund on their platform so that they can get the correct information.
Mm-hmm.
As for the investigations going on, I just want to say that any VC that has a hand in all these evil things that they are doing to our children and the young ones, they should just be summarily dismissed and sent to prison with hard labor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer. I'm really grateful for that. that contribution, and that is the truth. You should go to Nel Fund, their social media pages. You will definitely see they have a list, especially for the woman that called. Yes, you can always go on Facebook or X, check out Nel Fund. You go to their official pages, you will see the list of institutions that they have disbursed to. I think at the last count, they had about 290 institutions that they had already disbursed to across Nigeria. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah,
hello, good morning. Your reception is poor, so we can't hear you. Please call back. Call back 0805 5888 193 or 0805 5888 192. Hello, good morning.
hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, this is Moji Daudu calling from Balogun.
Okay, Mr. Daudu,
Good morning, Mr. Sam.
Good morning, Mr. Daudu.
Yeah. Please, it's about the driver, the bus driver. Is it bus or BRT or what?
Oh, yeah, BRT.
Fine. BRT, yeah, fine. Now, the judge has been delivered. He's going to be asked to judge. See, when is it soon, or are they going to release him again? Because we're hearing about such things.
No, the judgment says that he should die by hanging. So except he's going to challenge that, that's the judgment there.
Okay, two, about Sheyi Tinubu. Are they confirmed that man video before saying is yes or no? Because for someone that has admission to be anything in future, I don't think he can do such a thing. And that is one.
Okay.
Because when you say someone naked you, all this, you know, my own thinking is about admission. Because me, now, I can want to be anything in future. See, I will have a God to be doing that kind of thing. That is what I want just.
Oh, all right. Well, we've not been able to speak to that. Allegation was made by Comrade Atiku Abubakar Isa. But just like I said earlier at the start of the show that Comrade Atiku Isa was meant to speak with us this morning. He agreed to speak with us this morning, but he has not been reachable. Well, not that he has not been reachable, but we've put a call through. The phone rang, but he did not pick. Because we would have loved to, you know, just ask some more questions to affirm or not, you know, the involvement of the president's son in all of these allegations. But that allegation was one that he made. So we can't ascertain anything yet. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Commander Balogun online again.
All right, Commander Balogun, good morning.
Yeah, I want to speak to something about the left hand. I'm aware and I know an institution who has refunded the students. You know, there are some students who have made their payments. They have paid the students because the money was involved to the university.
Yeah.
And that particular institution refunded the students. Parents should ask those children, because some of them refuse to tell their parents that the university has credited their account. That's refund them.
Yes.
I'm aware of that. So I'm just giving this information so that, you know, to balance it. There are some students who have been refunded and they did not tell their parents that the net fund or the university has refunded the money they borrowed. So that children will not be having this kind of mindset that, oh, they pay the money, the children apply for the net fund, they were not given, or the net fund, you know, they got the money to the university and the university did not refund the money back to the students.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Comrade Abiodun. Yeah. All right. That's the size. It's 9:57 already. It's been a jolly good ride with everyone out there this morning. See, our prayer is that Nigeria is going to be a better place. Nigeria is going to be the country that a lot of us dreamed of. A lot of us grew up hearing our parents talking about government giving free meals to them, them enjoying free education, them even being paid stipends as students. And maybe that is what has come in the form of student loans, but we know that a lot of our own parents did not have to take that as a loan. They enjoyed it as part of the largest, of the federal government at the time. But more importantly, we're looking at a country where we can make technological inventions, we can grow, the poverty line will reduce greatly, and people would not just be living or working to survive, but can work and feel comfortable and be proud that they are indeed Nigerians. We're looking for a country where even if you're very successful, you won't be under the pressure to jackpot because you don't feel secured here. We're looking at a country in which everywhere is going to feel secured, safe for whoever it is you are, whoever it is that lives here. We're looking at a country where the healthcare sector is going to be well developed, that the president or any other political office holder would be confident about getting the treatments here and not having to travel abroad. That also concerns everybody. It is my prayer that this day will come in our own lifetime. But the truth is, we all must work towards making that dream become reality. Good morning. It's been a pleasure. I'll be back on Monday on the follow-up at 10 o'clock. You can reach me via Samuel Olugbeminiyi on Facebook or Caesar Olu on TikTok and